dive in. This time, we're tackling World of Oblivion.
Oh, yeah. The title itself, it kind of grabs you, doesn't it?
It really does. It hints at some pretty heavy themes, like a narrator who's totally detached from their own memory.
And from people in their life, too, right?
Exactly. So we're going to try to unpack why this narrator is drawn to Oblivion.
Yeah.
And what it might say about being human.
I think, well, right off the bat, the chapter titles give us some clues.
Yeah. How so?
Well, you've got titles like The Talent for Forgetting, Passing Shadows, Oblivion's Embrace.
Yeah. It's like a roadmap, but not for a typical happy-go-lucky journey.
Definitely not. It's more like a guide through apathy and the draw of forgetting.
Right. And the narrator, they have this almost uncanny ability to just forget things.
People, events, emotions, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. And in that first chapter, The Talent for Forgetting, it's clear that it's not even a choice for them.
Like they're wired differently.
It makes you wonder, is this like some kind of defense mechanism?
Yeah, could be. Maybe to cope with trauma or even, something neurological.
It really makes you think about how much memory makes up who we are.
Really, for sure. And the narrator, you see them observing others,
Like how?
Getting lost in nostalgia, reliving happy or sad memories together. And,
So I see, yeah.
And you sense this yearning from the narrator.
Right, they want to feel that connection.
But they describe their own experiences so clinically.
It's a weird paradox, isn't it?
Definitely. And then there's this whole idea of the narrator living in the ever-shifting present.
Oh, yeah. Without the weight of the past, just living in the now.
And the book suggests there's a kind of freedom in that,
Freedom how?
Less regret, dwelling on mistakes, all that baggage.
But the book hints at downsides too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like difficulty forming deep connections, maybe feeling rootless.
I see. Like a ship without an anchor.
Exactly. And then comes Oblivion's Embrace.
That's where forgetting becomes almost like a
gift.
Sure.
A path to liberation,
It flips the script on how we usually view memory. We cling to photo albums and family stories.
We try to preserve it all.
So it makes you wonder, can forgetting actually be like a positive force in our lives?
Or is it ultimately, a loss, stripping away the layers that make us who we are?
Yeah. Heavy stuff, right?
It really is. And the book doesn't offer easy answers. Like in Passing Shadows, we see the narrator grapple with this.
How so?
Imagine walking through a crowd and everyone you see was once important to you.
Oh, wow.
But now they're strangers.
Yeah, I get it. A powerful image.
It shows how fragile those connections can be. And the narrator, you see them almost grasping a memory.
Like a fleeting feeling.
Yeah, but it slips away like sand through their fingers. It's almost like they're...
Haunted.
Exactly, haunted by their own forgotten past. And that's where the real tension lies. Even as they embrace oblivion, you can feel the pain of those lost connections.
Yeah, like that inherent human need to belong, to have a history.
Exactly. That need for something that anchors us. Have you ever felt that?
The ache of a fading memory.
Yeah, a connection you just can't piece back together.
Absolutely. I think it's something we all experience in some way.
Yeah, probably. And maybe that's why this book is so gripping.
In what way?
Well, it takes this unusual premise, right?
The whole forgetting thing.
And explores it in a way that's both unsettling and relatable at the same time.
That sense of loss, I think it's even stronger in Faces Without Names.
Oh, yeah, that's a powerful chapter.
The narrator is surrounded by people, but they're just like empty.
No names, no stories to connect with.
Like looking in a mirror, but not recognizing yourself.
It's chilling. And even though the narrator craves that detachment, there's a part of them that still, I think,
still longs for that connection.
Yeah, to be part of something bigger. Such a paradox, right?
It really is. And that's what I love about this book.
What do you mean?
It captures this push and pull between oblivion and our human need to connect.
This back and forth between letting go and holding on.
And then we get to whispers in the wind. Things get even more
eerie.
Yeah, eerie. We're introduced to these whispers.
Fragmented memories almost.
Haunting the narrator.
Like echoes from a life they can't quite remember.
Right. And it really makes you think about like the subconscious, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Like, what do these whispers represent?
Are they a longing for the past or maybe a fear of what's been forgotten?
It makes you question how memory works,
How those pieces could just resurface out of nowhere.
Exactly. And for the narrator, they add to that feeling of being haunted.
Like the past is trying to break through, you know, remind them who they are.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And this sets the stage perfectly for the epilogue.
Oh, where everything we thought we knew gets flipped on its head.
Right.
The narrator, who's been so detached this whole time, suddenly has this flood of memories come back.
It's such a twist.
What do you make of it?
Well, it's brilliant, right? It makes us reevaluate everything about the narrator.
Yeah, like, was this Oblivion really a choice?
Or was it something deeper, like a mental block or maybe a defense mechanism that finally crumbled?
And the way they describe it, the memories coming back,
It's so vivid.
you can almost feel the weight of it all, the joy, the pain.
It reminds us that memory is so powerful.
How so?
Well, it's not just facts and events.
It's the emotions, the sensations, the connections.
Exactly. And when all those memories come back full force, it can be overwhelming.
Even disorienting, right?
For sure. But it can also be healing. And for the narrator, it seems like it's both.
They go from being almost like a ghost in their own life.
To suddenly being anchored in these rich experiences.
It's a powerful moment, like a real awakening.
And it underscores how important memory is to our identity. It's the shared experiences, the connections.
You give our lives meaning.
And without them, yeah, we're kind of adrift.
But the epilogue isn't just about dwelling on the past, right?
No, not at all. It also emphasizes balance.
Oh, I see.
The narrator doesn't just get their memories back.
They develop a new appreciation for the present moment, too.
Exactly. It's this key takeaway. The book isn't saying we should cling desperately to the past,
It's about finding a way to, honor what shaped us.
but also to be open to what's happening right now.
It's this careful dance, remembering and forgetting, holding on and letting go.
The steps might change as we move through life, but the dance goes on.
And that's what makes World of Oblivion so relevant today, don't you think?
Absolutely. In a world with so much information and distractions
It encourages us to be mindful
of what we choose to hold on to.
and what we let go of.
And to really savor those moments that matter. Connect with people, in meaningful ways.
Create a life story that feels, genuine.
Real and fulfilling. And it reminds us that our stories are always being written.
And we have the power to shape them.
Even the narrator, who seemed so detached from their own story, reclaims it.
It's empowering, isn't it?
It suggests that even when we feel lost or disconnected, we can rewrite our stories.
Rediscover ourselves.
It all circles back to that idea of balance, finding that sweet spot.
Yeah, between the past, the present, and the future.
A unified whole. It makes you think, what stories do you tell yourself about who you are?
Are there narratives that aren't helpful anymore?
Maybe even holding you back.
Those are such great questions to ask ourselves. And that's what I love about this kind of deep dive.
It's not just about absorbing information, right?
It's about these deeper conversations.
Exploring what it means to be human.
You're right. We're all figuring this out together. The memory thing, identity, connection, it's all connected.
Yeah, it is. And even when faced with this idea of oblivion, there's always the chance for rediscovering ourselves.
Finding meaning in the present.
The ever-unfolding present. And the book itself, it's almost like it's whispering to us.
Urging us to pay attention, to cherish the moments.
And to never stop exploring ourselves.
That is beautifully put. It's like, what is it about literature that does that?
It has this power to transport us, challenge us, and leave us changed.
And that's why I love these deep dives. It's a chance to connect with these profound ideas.
Share those aha moments.
Yes.
Right.
You come away feeling a little more, enlightened.
More connected to the world.
Exactly. And it's a privilege to do it with you and with our listeners. I can't wait to see what other books we'll explore.
Me too.
All right. Until next time, keep diving deep, everyone. As we're wrapping up this deep dive into World of Oblivion, I keep coming back to this idea of balance.
Yeah.
Like that sweet spot the narrator's trying to find.
Between remembering and forgetting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's so striking is how the book shows us both extremes.
Okay.
On the one hand, you see the narrator almost like reveling in oblivion.
Celebrating that detachment.
Yeah, from memories from relationships.
And then bam,
Yeah.
all those memories come rushing back.
It's like they're drowning in it.
Totally overwhelmed.
So it makes you think maybe the answer lies somewhere in the middle.
Not one extreme or the other.
Exactly. The book isn't advocating for total oblivion or for being chained to every single memory.
It's about recognizing the value of both.
Remembering AD forgetting.
Which makes me think about how much effort we put into curating our own memories.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Like taking photos, keeping journals, telling stories.
We're trying to preserve it all.
Hold on to those moments that feel important.
But then at the same time, we're choosing what to let go of.
What fades into the background?
And those choices, those are powerful.
They shape who we become, don't they?
Absolutely. The memories we choose to keep the stories we tell ourselves.
It's like we're all editors of our own life stories.
We pick the scenes, we arrange them just so
We even add a filter.
to change how we see things.
And just like any good editor, we have to know what to cut.
What really serves the story?
What adds meaning?
And what's better left out?
Because sometimes letting go is just as important as holding on.
It makes space for new things, doesn't it?
New experiences, new perspectives, new chapters in our stories.
It's not about erasing the past.
It's about integrating it into our present.
Learning from it.
The good and the bad.
Using those lessons to move forward.
Yeah, with more wisdom, maybe more compassion.
I think that message is something we can all relate to.
We all have those memories we cherish.
The moments that made us who we are.
But we've also got things we'd rather let go of.
Burdens we don't need to carry anymore.
Maybe that's the real journey.
Finding that balance
Between honoring the past,
and being open to the present.
recognizing that our stories are always evolving.
And that we have the power to shape them.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into World of Oblivion, I'm left with this thought.
Yeah, what's that?
What are the memories that define you? What stories do you choose to hold on to?
And what are you ready to release?
That's a question worth thinking about.
It is, and there's no right or wrong answer.
It's a personal journey.
Figuring out what it means to remember and to forget.
And to find meaning in our lives as they're happening.
Beautifully said.
Until our next deep dive, keep exploring, everyone. And keep embracing the complexities of your own story. It's funny, isn't it, how this whole conversation about memory and forgetting, it kind of leads us right to identity.
Oh, for sure.
Like, who are we, really, without those memories?
It's something World of Oblivion tackles head on, especially with, the narrator and their whole forgetting thing.
Right. At first, it seems like this huge obstacle, right? Like, it prevents them from connecting with people.
But the more you read, it becomes something else. It's almost like a way for the narrator to, experiment.
Experiment how?
With the different parts of themselves.
Like trying on different identities.
Yeah, exactly. It's like in Passing Shadows, where they talk about moving through life, but feeling detached.
Like an outsider looking in.
Exactly. And there's this unsettling feeling to it, but also this freedom.
Freedom from what?
From having a fixed identity, I guess.
So without those past experiences holding them back.
They're free to change, to evolve.
To just be whoever they are in that moment.
Right. But the book doesn't sugarcoat it. It shows us the downsides, too.
Like in Faces Without Names.
Oh, yeah, that chapter. It's a gut punch, isn't it?
It is. Why do you think that is?
It reminds us how much we need connection.
That sense of belonging.
Something that goes beyond just living in the moment.
So it makes you wonder, is this whole Oblivion thing, can it really be a good thing?
Or is it, robbing us of the experiences that shape us?
Yeah, is it a gift or a curse?
I don't think the book gives a simple answer.
What do you mean?
I think it shows us that both remembering and forgetting are important.
Like two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. Remembering, it connects us to our past.
To the people who shaped who we are.
But forgetting, that lets us grow.
Helps us shed those old stories that don't fit anymore.
Makes room for something new.
It's like, what's that saying?
Out with the old, in with the new.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe the point isn't to be afraid of forgetting.
Or to hold on for dear life to every single memory.
Yeah, maybe it's about choosing carefully.
Deciding what we want to keep, what we need to let go of.
And that brings us right back to stories, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The narrator's journey, it's all about figuring that out.
Figuring out what?
The dance between memory, identity, and just being present.
And it reminds us that we're all on that same journey. We all have stories.
Experiences we weave together. It's powerful, isn't it? Even in a world where we try to capture every single moment.
There's beauty in those fleeting things.
The things we choose to let go of.
The space we make for new beginnings. So as we wrap up our deep dive into World of Oblivion, I'm curious.
Yeah.
What stories are you holding on to that maybe, don't serve you anymore? What new chapters are you ready to write?
Those are great questions to think about. I hope this deep dive has given everyone some food for thought.
New ways to look at things.
Maybe even inspired you to embrace both remembering and forgetting.
And to keep writing your own story. Beautifully said. Until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep embracing your own incredible journey.